Well, I'm about to get started here in just a few minutes. I hope you guys have. I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. What a fantastic game that was. We've seen some really good Super Bowls as of late, but that has to be one of the all-time greatest Super Bowl games I've ever seen. That ranks right up there with the Joe Montana comeback against the Bengals back in I think the late '80s Super Bowl. Whenever he hit who was it? Jonathan Taylor, I think it was, in the end zone for the touchdown. So that was a fantastic Super Bowl tonight. Hats off to Chiefs fans. Patrick Mahomes, probably one of, if not the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Very fun game to watch, that is for sure. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. Football season comes to an end. Hey, I won $50, so I'm excited. So football season comes to an end with a spectacular game. It definitely lived up to its expectations for sure. That's one of my favorites. So, well, I hope you all are having a good night. I know it's a little bit late here. We will not have a newscast until I don't think we're going to go on to probably about probably somewhere around 11, about an hour or so from now, probably close to about 11:20, 11:30. So, of course, I'm not working. Cameron is, but I'm here at the in my home office giving you updates. So, no, I don't. Matter of fact, if anything, Cameron, I want the logo smaller. I don't. No, I don't want to make the logo bigger. So, um, it just needs to be repositioned. That's all. Cameron was saying something to it about me about our logo up there. It just needs to be repositioned a little bit. So, um, yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about what's going on right now. I don't know exactly what's going on as far as the road conditions and what makes it. Yeah, I know there's negative space there, Cameron, but that's because the logo's not. It needs to be a little more over to the right, but we'll talk about that later. Um, I'm not 100% certain what the road conditions look like out there. I know here in Wichita Falls the roads are just wet, but this is just base reflectivity here. That's actually turned into a really nice band of snow. Yeah, that stretches from about Oklahoma City all the way down into Comanche County, and it has snowed heavy for several hours from about Cache, Lawton down into especially Frederick. Frederick has just been hammered. And down into northern parts of Wilbarger County. I don't know how much snowfall accumulation we have in those areas. For whatever reason, let me see if I can get my storm reports to show longer. Um, well, I don't know. Again, I'm still trying to learn a lot of the stuff here with this, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing some snowfall amounts get up closer to 4 or 5 inches of snow there, especially out towards Frederick, maybe even more than that. I can put the precipitation mask back on. Here in the falls, we knew that we were going to be on the edge of this the whole time, and there's a dry slot that's worked its way into the. You typically see this, and the position of the storm center was never going to be ideal for Wichita Falls to see much. Because the center of it was going to move right over us. You really need to be on the northwest side of it, and we were never going to be on the northwest side. So that's why we went 0 to 1. Now, Burke, the western parts of Burke Burnett, Iowa Park, Electra, you've gotten some nice snow, maybe up to an inch, or maybe even more than that. But I would be interested to know about Frederick, what you got there in Frederick, because you've had some really heavy snow over you for quite some time tonight. So, yeah, and it continues to come down. But the here's the deal: the storm center itself is going to be pulling away over the next several hours. It's going to be moving from right now the storm center probably just east of Wichita Falls, and it's going to be moving kind of northeast through the central and eastern parts of Oklahoma. So you may think to yourself, oh, that band of heavy snow that's back off to the west is going to wind up. It's got to come east sooner or later, right? Well, actually, what's going to happen is that's going to begin to fall apart here pretty soon as the storm center itself pulls away. Now, I do think that we could see maybe a little more of that snow shower activity try to make its way to the east over towards Burke and Wichita Falls, but that's going to fall apart pretty quickly now that the storm is moving off to the east. And I still do not expect any issues here in Wichita Falls. Um, And like I was saying a moment ago, I do not know officially how much snow has fallen um, out west. So Quanah, you only got 3.5 inches of snow. Comanche's got about 6. I'm not surprised by that. Comanche, and especially the western parts of Comanche, and especially over towards Frederick and those areas, really got hit hard. I wouldn't be surprised if there were, some places that got above 6 inches over there. But Quanah, I really thought, last night we were talking, I really felt like somewhere over there near Quanah, or maybe the northern parts of Wilburger County, somewhere in there would get up to a foot of snow. But it wound up, the storm didn't come together until it got a little bit to the east of there. So that's why I feel like that we didn't see, any more snowfall amounts higher there in Quanah. But again, I don't know what has fallen in Frederick, but I'm thinking that the heaviest totals are going to wind up being perhaps maybe Cache, Oklahoma, down towards Frederick. Somewhere in there probably got hit pretty good. Coming down Hardenberg, thank you for Ashley Morath for that. Coming down Hardenberg. So yeah, and you may wind up overall with about an inch there in Burke, because you continue to have at least some moderate snow trying to kind of fill in there towards the north. I don't know that, again, I don't think we're going to see a lot of snow there, because this is going to begin to taper off, I think, after midnight. But as the storm center itself pulls away, some of this activity will gradually try to move east. But as it does so, it's going to be filling in pretty fast, or not filling in, but it's going to be drying up pretty fast, dissipating. That's the word I'm looking for. Iowa Park, you've gotten in some good snows tonight, and you're still seeing some pretty good snows up towards Electra, Harold, Texas. Vernon, you're still seeing some good snow. But look at that maroon color. That's representing some really heavy snow still falling. It has got to be just a lot of snow there in Frederick. Lawton, you still are seeing some moderate snow. So there's definitely some significant snow, and it looks like these snow showers extend down into Seymour now. Benjamin, Kroll still seeing a little snow. Quanah still seeing a little snow. But if you see, again, here in Wichita Falls, we're just missing out. People say all the time, Wichita Falls just always seems to miss out. Well, it's because the storm tracks are just always right there on top of us when we get these storms. It just always seems that the position of Wichita Falls is in perfect spot for what's called a dry slot. With the storm center, you get an area of low pressure that develops, and you get moisture on the east, north, and the northwest, and sometimes western side of it. In the middle of it, though, the storm center, you get a dry slot. That's dry air that comes in terms of precipitation off. So sometimes it might rain or snow all around you, and then you don't get nothing there because you got dry slotted. And that's kind of what's happened. There's your dry slot there that's come up from Wichita Falls, Henrietta, up towards Waurika. There is a little lobe there that's produced a little light snow towards Nocona and those areas, but you're not going to see accumulations there. I mean, if you do, it will be very brief. Snowing heavily up towards Oklahoma City and west. There have been some pretty heavy snow amounts southwest and west of Oklahoma City. And I saw somewhere where Plainview, Texas got a foot of snow. But there's your storm center there, kind of near Ardmore, or near the Pauls Valley, Wynwood area. And it's continuing to move pretty quickly off to the northeast now. And I do expect these heavy snow bands to taper off here over the next several hours. But there's still a pretty good little batch of heavy snow dropping south towards Iowa Park. So Iowa Park, you could see the snow pick up here. Here in Lakeside, we've just had a few flurries, and that's just been it. I'm not upset. To me, I don't like snow, because when it snows, it sticks on the ground and it's out there and everything's wet and nasty. So I don't like snow personally. So I'm not certain how the roads are out there tonight. I just don't have I've been watching the game, so I haven't been doing any fact checking or looking around or trying to get reports or whatnot. But I do know that temperatures are very marginal. I mean, you're looking at maybe some of the colder spots, maybe 31, maybe 32, somewhere in there. Snowpack can certainly help, kind of lower the temperatures a bit. And where there's been heavy snow bands, no doubt you've seen it come down hard enough to compensate for those warm ground temperatures, because the soil temperatures are warm. So you've had slush that's built up on roadways. I do not think that we have slick roadways. I mean, I suppose that if you're below freezing, that there could be some maybe on some of the elevated surfaces, like a bridge or an overpass or something like that. But in general, roadways where it has snowed hard or heavily, we're probably looking at just slush there. And what happens is once the snow stops, you're probably going to see the temperatures either hold steady or go up even a little bit. And remember, the ground temperatures are warm, so the snow will continue to melt. So when you get up in the morning, there will still probably be snow on the ground, but you'll probably be very slushy and very wet, and it's going to melt off fast tomorrow as we get back into the sunshine again. So overall, pretty good forecast for the winter storm. I thought that some of our numbers were a little bit high with some of the computer models that were coming out. But we kind of thought somewhere. I actually thought that the heaviest snow might be a little bit west of there, but it was looking pretty much like Lawton, Frederick, Altus, Vernon, Quanah, Kroll. These areas would get the lion's share of it. But it looks like we had a pretty good band from about Lawton to Frederick to Vernon, and it even got into parts of Wichita County too. And you're still seeing some of these bands trying to drop south, and you're probably about to see the snow pick up some there in Iowa Park. Um, I would think that Wichita Falls would get a little bit of this as the storm center continues to pull away. Remember, all this back here to the northwest is gonna dissipate pretty quickly. But as the storm itself pulls away, we might here in the city might get a little bit of that lighter snow, maybe enough to give a dusting on some of the grass. But I wouldn't think, other than that, I wouldn't think there should be any problem. So just be careful if you're traveling. I would think that there's probably more dangerous travel up into Oklahoma and along 287 towards Vernon. Pretty dangerous probably, with considering that the roads are probably slushy. So let's go and see if we can answer a few questions here. See what we got going on. So if we take a look here, yeah, William, you're not going to see much over there though. Snow in Nakona, yeah, you won't see much. You think we'll get any winter weather the rest of the month? It's hard to say, Sarah, but it's not looking like it. I mean, February. If we're going to get winter weather, that's usually when it is usually in the month of February. But there's just not a lot of cold air around to really help generate it. But we'll see. We still got a ways to go, so we'll see. Well, I mean, Corey, you're not going to see much. I mean, the radar confirms there's not a whole lot of snow over there. It's just a couple little snow bands, and you're getting into the dry slot too. You're just going kind of the little lobe around that could perhaps maybe give you a little bit of snow over there, little forward lobe, the front lobe of it. But once that passes on by, you're going to get dry slotted, so don't expect much in the Kona. Coming down pretty good. Nicholas says coming down pretty good. Harmony Road off 287, still coming down hard near KMA. Yeah, you're in the area. That's the area. It's northwest of the city, and when you're dealing with snow, or really any type of winter weather for that matter, especially snow and freezing rain for that matter, there's always a sharp cutoff between areas that get it and areas that don't. You literally can be driving down the road and no white, and all of a sudden you run into a ton of it. And I've seen it happen like that before. Yeah, I can go back to that. I can go back to my scene here, and we can zoom in a little bit better, and I can kind of show you. We're kind of zoomed in on our, where the snow is falling now. I'll read off questions. So, sticking to the roads and Holiday. So it looks like we got some slush in Holiday anyway. So this is not like when we get situations where there's it snows and the temperatures drop into the 20s and the roads are a mess. Okay, I mean, I'm not doubting that I'm not saying they're not a mess now, because they probably are in some of those areas. But this is a slushy. Like if you walked across it, you would see a lot of water coming out from there. And that's going to continue to melt. When the snow quits, a lot of this is going to start melting pretty fast. But, if you did get a hefty amount of snow, it's going to take a while for it to all melt off. So, no, we're not going to pipe. That's Lena Johnson wants to know, do we need to run our pipes so they don't freeze? Well, there's a bit of a misconception about pipe bursting weather. Just because it's 32 degrees outside, I don't mean your pipes. It has to be cold like it was a couple of weeks ago for pipes to burst. Temperatures like this, even if we got to 32, this is not pipe bursting weather. So no, don't do that. Yeah, guys have been getting a good bit of snow there, especially on the west side of Burke tonight. Yeah, Elaine, it does. That's why I don't like it. It just makes too much of a mess. I could see it snowing for a couple more hours up there before everything finally dissipates. If y'all want to, we can look at some weather data here. So give me a second to pull in some data. I'm going to go to another. I'm just going to go back to my full screen so I can shut my radar down and go to my model that I like to run here. So give me just a minute. Well, how about that Super Bowl? Man, that was a fun Super Bowl to watch. That's going to go down as one of my most favorite Super Bowls to watch that I watched. It was great. All right, so let me see. The H triple R, which is a model that I usually love. I love it, but it's actually not doing too bad. But it's not doing a good job with its precipitation masks. So you'll have to take this with a grain of salt. But I'm gonna pull this in and let you look at some weather data real fast with me. Um, all right, so here we go, as Dak would say. Here we go. All right, so let's zoom in a little closer. All right, so this is some computer model data we're looking at. And again, you have to kind of ignore the greens. It's not done a very good job with showing the placement throughout the day anyway. So you can see where that drier area is coming in from Bowie and those areas over that way, and how it continues to shut off. There's the progression of everything. Now this would be, I went way too fast. This would be around 11 o'clock. Here's midnight. You can still see precipitation where you see the purples. That's a little bit heavier. Burpernette, Wichita Falls, Vernon, those areas. And the snow is getting lighter as of around midnight. And then here we are at 1 a.m. Still, you're seeing, look how quickly it dissipates. And it looks like by 3, 4 a.m., this should easily be gone. And the storm goes north, and you're getting snow up towards Tulsa and those areas. And it's going to track across southern Missouri and into Illinois tomorrow. So there could be some snow in those areas up in the northeastern part of the country. So, but anyway, I would expect the snow to continue through at least midnight, 1 a.m., and then it should taper off by, I would say, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. It should taper off. By the time you get up, it will no longer be snowing. We should get into some sunshine, I would think, tomorrow at some point. Maybe even wake up with sun. Usually when these storms move out, we usually clear out pretty quick. So that is definitely a possibility. So, but we'll go back and I'll show radar data again. And I'm going to answer a few questions. I do want to take a few minutes to do a TikTok live here in a minute. So I haven't done one of those today. I did one this morning, but I hadn't done one lately. It's TikTok just makes it real difficult for you to multi-stream with. To be able to multi-stream, you have to have a stream key. And TikTok doesn't want to give you a stream key. They want you to use their TikTok Studios, and it's garbage. It is a trash program. I'll use it, but I don't like it. So, thanks, Nicholas. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm doing. I've got a lot of good stuff going on here, and it's still a work in progress. I'm working on graphics, and Cameron's been helping me, and he does a real good job with these things. I just need to kind of do some fine tuning and make some adjustments. You'll also notice I got my AMS certified tag up there. That's from the American Meteorological Society, and that's our CBM, certified broadcast meteorologist. In order to get that, you have to have the education, a certain amount of experience, and you have to pass a test, and you have to at least act like you know what you're talking about. That's what I do anyway. So. And I post that up there because there's a lot of these guys. I want to distinguish myself from the so and so's weather page, because there is one person. I'm not going to say anybody's body by name, but that guy or gal or whoever it is that runs it, it's one of and this person's got over 100,000 followers, and it's one of the worst pages I've ever. He's not a meteorologist. It's just some kid that's a weather enthusiast. All he's doing is throwing model runs out there, and he'll backtrack, he'll show something, and he'll go back and forth, and it gets shared all over the place, and then I have to do damage control. So that's why I'm putting my stuff up there, because I've got the education, I've got the degree, and I've got the experience. I'm not one of these bozos that sit around and do that. I mean, I guess you guys, they can do it all they want to. It's fine. I don't care. But it's just when they throw bad information out, that's when I don't like it. And what I don't like is also when they're real rude. And a lot of these people are real rude and have egos and they're real cocky. So, all right. So, no, Brenda, these are not slick roads. These are slushy roads. When I think of slick roads, I think of like a layer of black ice or a layer of freezing rain that's fallen, something like that. When you get snow, especially with a situation like this, and the ground temperatures are above freezing, it's on the roads as long as it's snowing. But when it stops snowing, you're going to see that stuff gradually melt off. I mean, it'll still be there in the morning in places that saw the snow that came down heavy enough. It'll still be there, but it's going to melt off pretty fast. And in most cases, you can drive on it as long as you stay in the grooves there. You can drive on it. So I don't know. I've never had issue driving on the snow for whatever reason. I've got a big truck, but even when the two-wheel drive, I mean it's a four-wheel drive, but I mean even on the two-wheel drive vehicles, I never had a problem with it. You just stay in the groove. Um, so no, the roads are not going to be slick, but they could be slushy, and that can cause problems too. That can make for dangerous travel as well. So you just want to be careful about, just be careful if you get out. And I know there are going to be some school delays and whatnot, maybe even some cancellations in some of those areas that saw that heavier snow. But um, here in Wichita Falls, I don't think there's going to be a need for that. Just be careful, Brenda. And like I say, it's going to be some slushy spots out there, but I don't think that it's going to be slick. I've never had a pipe Colleen burst, but it has to be. This is not pipe bursting weather. It has to be a certain. There's a formula for it, and it has to be below freezing for an extended period of time. And during that period of time, it has to be. Temperatures have to be in the teens. I think the temperature's got to be below freezing for like 48 hours. Maybe it's 24 to 48 hours, something. I think it's 48 hours, and it has to get down in the teens for that to be pipe bursting weather. So. But I have never had it. Thank the good Lord I haven't had it. So you're very welcome. But all this here again is a work in progress. So I'm trying. You see this thing up here? It's called Beyond Weather, and what the Beyond Weather is, that's going to be our podcast we're going to do because we're doing stuff that's not just weather. We're doing stuff beyond weather, like I have a keen interest in sports. There's all kind of stuff that you can talk about that's not political, and we're not getting into politics, but there's all kind of stuff out there we can talk about that's not just weather related. I mean, a lot of it will be weather related, but there'll be other stuff that we can talk about too and have fun with. My view with this, and it's going to be. So you're saying that I'm glad you gave me a report because I don't have any good reports. So you drove from Vernon to Chillicothe, took it nice and slow, definitely slick spots. Well, again, just be careful if you're driving over. That's where the snow came down hard, and that's where it's stuck on the road. So just be careful over that way if you're driving. So Cameron says he wants to do lots of hockey talk, but I'm not a hockey guy. You'll be talking to yourself because I know nothing about hockey. So, but Jaden will be a part of it. We may even try to bring Garrett James back into the mix some too. And I got some other people that I know that are weather and just fun related stuff. It'll just be fun. It'll be a good time. So, but it's called Beyond Weather. We've been saying for months we're going to do this, and I've been trying to get my setup right, and I've just about got it there. Just got to work out a couple little kinks, and then we'll get it going. Hopefully this week, but we'll see. We'll see. But I do like my little setup here. A nice little investment here. So, yep, football season's now over, Kramer. My wife will be happy, but I'm sad. But you know what? We got the spring football. We got the XFL and the USFL that's about to come. They're all joining one, merging into one, and that gets started here pretty soon. But that's that's a poor man's version of football. And I mean, don't get me wrong; those guys are better than I ever was, and they're definitely great athletes. But that's not good. Usually, that's not good football. So, and I'm not a big baseball. I played baseball in high school, but I'm not a big baseball guy. So, well, we don't have of a lot of people on here at this time. Most of what we're seeing here is just um, just some couple folks in. But we'll take one more radar tour before I jump off. Still snowing heavy, still coming down. Remember, this is the backside of the storm system here, and you're still seeing those heavy waves of snow over Frederick down into from about Burkburnett into Iowa Park, KMA, Holiday. You're getting off and on decent snow here in Lakeside City. We've just completely missed out. Most of Wichita Falls has as well. We might get a little bit of that activity trying to come in from the north, kind of up towards Randelette and Walters. So there's still an outside chance we could see a period of snow, after midnight and into the early morning hours before it all tapers off. But the chances of us getting that heavy snow like it's falling near Frederick and those areas, very, very low here. I don't think we're going to get that. But there still could be some dustings down towards Seymour, and there could still be some more accumulations there. I would love to know how much snow has fallen in Frederick. I mean, I just can't help but feel there's been a bunch of snow there. Cameron, have you seen any reports on the instant messenger there, how much snow has fallen in some of these spots? Look at that line there. I wonder what that line is. I have no idea what that is. There's like a distinguished line. Almost looks like an outflow boundary, but that's not what that is. I just switched resources there. This is reflectivity. And you can see that's just a really nice area of snow, and it's just really set in for the next couple. It's been snowing for a while, but notice how it's beginning to kind of shrink up off to the west. That's telling me that you're beginning to see this snow area beginning to start to wind down. But I still think again it's going to snow for several more hours, and it still could be heavy in some places out west. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those areas wound up getting above. I think Frederick's had to have above 6 inches. I mean, that's been the sweet spot. But of course, that is right next to the radar, so I mean, it might be picking up on some of that lower level return there. I don't know. On the flip side of that, pretty big storm. There's some severe thunderstorm warnings over into Mississippi tonight. Um, One thing I do not like about this radar program is you gotta select a site just to be able to see just to be able to see the topography in the counties and whatnot. But there's a pretty good thunderstorm there coming out of South Mississippi. These are hail producers. There was talk of tornadic activity over here today, but no, I don't think there was ever one tornado warning in Mississippi. There were a couple in southeast Texas and over in southern Louisiana, I think, but there was never really any severe weather in Mississippi today as far as tornadic stuff goes. But that's a pretty good hailstorm. But yeah, I thought I'd just go over there and show you. That's the warm side of everything. And if you are watching from Dallas, you're not going to get snow out of this system. All that moisture is going to pass well north of you. I ran into Skip McBride today at the grocery store, and he was like, we were both laughing about the snow. I said, "Snow?" I said, "Skip, where's the snow at?" He's a good guy. He's one of my favorite folks. But anyway, but that's the latest. Only reports we have are Hardeman County and Comanche County. Okay. Yeah, reports have been very. Of course, I've been. I think everybody's been watching the Super Bowl. So, all right. Well, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to try to do a TikTok live real fast, and I'm going to call it a night and go to bed. So, but we'll continue to work on our little platform here, this Beyond Weather thing, and hopefully we can get